What's going on YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Yocrates. This is your review for Love and Marriage DC episode Lies. Season 1, episode 4. Oh, I could have just said episode 4, season 1. Whatever. Here we are. Really quickly, in case you all are wondering, no, you're not going to get Love and Marriage Huntsville. There was a blackout to protest Sunday, this past, not Sunday, Saturday's episode, especially given the antics of Wanda, and I decided that I was going to, join. But again, I didn't let y'all know. It's just me doing my silent protest. I'm just letting you know, in case you're wondering, where is that review? You ain't getting it. But if you want to, you can go and watch Erica De Niro TV. She did a review. Scotty by Nature TV did a review. Give You the Real T did a review. I believe Really BTV did a review. Bonnie Blue, I believe Jamie That's Me, Niecy Dixon, the usuals. Check them out. All right, let's get into this. So we pick up where we left off, where we have Winter. She feels, when you're getting to know someone, you don't be harsh. Which in an ideal world, and that also kind of feels like respectability politics almost, where it's just like, oh, these are the rules of when you meet somebody, da 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 da. But at the same exact time, because she wants them to know her for who she is, but it's very difficult when one of the first things you're leading off with is you had a failed marriage and you currently are going through a failing marriage. It's kind of hard for people to get to understand who Winter is when this is what you're presenting, right? So Ashley apologized for, coming off strong. Again, she gonna apologize for what she said. Okay, she gonna apologize. I mean, she gonna apologize for everything else, but what she said is what she said, and she meant what she said. That's what that is. Um, Winter wants Ashley to get to know her outside of her two marriages. Irena brings up, the whole infidelity thing. And, like I said, pretty much says, we've been married 26 years and it hasn't been perfect. And I think we all understand that. Like, no marriage, for what it's worth, is perfect. And even and I'm not even going to say traditional, because, I mean, every marriage is going to be different. And whether, whether there are open-ended pieces or it's very closed in, nothing is perfect, and you have two people trying to build something together. And what's worse is when you have two individuals that are not whole trying to become whole with the other person. Always a recipe for disaster. But nevertheless, as she says, she's not aware if Quick has ever cheated, since they've been married. Now, before they got married, oh, they both cheated on each other. It was a tit for tat. I can appreciate Ashley. Here's the thing. Let me be very clear. I appreciate the ladies, being very forthcoming about these things. I mean, granted, is it any of our business? No. But when you come on shows like this, I'll use Real Housewives of New Jersey, for instance, where you have Louis at the end of not this past season, but the previous season at the reunion. Andy had questions about things that were coming out. And it's like, you have to know these things are going to come out. And rather than him get in front of it, he chose to kind of, follow behind his girlfriend and not say anything, to his detriment. And he ended up, pretty much being forced to step away from a company that he helped build. Say all that to say, I can appreciate these women being forthcoming, because you're getting ahead of it. And if any, bald head scallywags decide they want to come out and say, oh, well, this and this and this, it could be like, yeah, we talked about that. Your point is, like, it takes all the air out of that tire. Let me see. And she also says, people have made up rumors on, the both of them. So she's not quick to believe anything. And she also says that she does not go digging. She ain't checking his phone. She not doing none of that. If it falls in her lap, that's that. But she's not going searching. Which I know some people will be like, why not? But I do believe when you go searching for something, you're going to find what you're searching for more often than not. Or it's the flip side of, you go searching for something, you realize there's nothing there. If the other party looks like, okay, wow, you don't trust me, this, that, and third, and now there's a, dissolving of the relationship, because you obviously you don't trust that person. Just saying. Irena feels, she does, if she doesn't see it, if she doesn't hear it, it didn't happen. So pretty much, I got to be able to see it with my own eyes and hear it with my own ears. If that isn't the case, I can't really go off of hearsay. So we get Ashley and Sean, that's Quick's manager. They talk about Quick and him working and that being a coping mechanism, and that's something we've already discussed. Um, Ashley wants his schedule to be adjusted. Quick overhears him. Quick joins. We find out that Quick has had a plethora of car accidents because of exhaustion. And Ashley's whole thing is, you ain't got 9 lives. Like, you really need to reel this thing in. And she says it like an accident happens every 2 to 3 years, and he thinks that he knows the future, and he doesn't. Quick lets us know again that he works to provide to make sure that his family has, and that helps to build him up to know that he's providing such a lifestyle. Ashley says she doesn't know who she would be without him. First and foremost, you should have already known who you were before him. So that leads me to believe that you were half of a whole and so was he. Or maybe he was a whole but you were half, but you were not fulfilled within yourself. That is a dangerous thing to do, especially when you lose yourself in a relationship. And at the same exact time, you don't know who you will be without him, unless, well, not even a prenuptial. If he dies and it ain't nothing holding you back, you gonna be sitting on. You know what? Let me not say that. Anyway, y'all know I was about to go with that. Quick says, his motto used to be he's gonna outwork everybody next year. His motto is gonna be he's going to out vacation everybody. And when he said he meant he and the family. And Sean's like, okay, let me write this down. Let me put the date, the time, and everything, because we need to remind you of this. We get Monique and Chris. They have it's their Africa montage. And moving on, no shade there. Just saying, it was a montage of them in Africa. Just is what it is. So we get Jason and Irena. So he has been trying to get into this program called DOOR. And she said it's the Department of Rehabilitation, and this is where individuals with disabilities, they learn independence and different skill sets and whatnot, which is great. She lets him know, and also us, that they will be making a decision soon because there was more paperwork that they needed to submit, and it seems like they've been dealing with this for quite some time. So they've been given all what they need. A decision will be made soon. He wants to work with computers and with Apple. And we see right before this scene starts that him and his grandmother, she was trying to pair her Apple Watch to the iPhone. And he was able to do it via voice command. So it shows that, okay, he is able to do it. And I'm going to say this now because, excuse me, I hope, because I don't want to forget and I didn't put it in my notes, is I really hope Jamie understands the position that they're in right now. And you have a lot of companies, especially when you want to talk about diversity and all that other stuff, where many of them would jump for an opportunity to hire people with certain disabilities. Like, I remember seeing one commercial for, I believe it was Amazon, where they had, like, it was one commercial. I believe the guy was deaf, if I'm not mistaken, using sign language, but promoting, hey, we hire people from various walks of life. And if Apple already does it, they can use this as a campaign to sit here and, further bring more people to the company and more buyers and all that other stuff. So this right here is a golden opportunity. And because he's on this show and he does have a name, this could be a way to help at least get his son in the door. But we'll get there. But let's just say I'll get there. I'm sorry. So Irena says, that's news to her that he wants to work for Apple. And one thing that I gather from this and a later scene is his parents don't listen. Y'all hear me say this all the time. People hear to respond, but they don't listen to understand. And it's almost like it's clear they love him. But it's one of those where we're older, we've lived longer, so we know what's best rather than listening to what your child has to say. I'll continue on with that because Quick has something, to say, which I'm like, I agree. Which it was interesting because Quick is younger than them, and his children are younger than them. But Quick was giving some insight, and this is to let y'all know: never discount somebody because of their age, because they can have knowledge beyond their years. And sometimes, for those of y'all who's spiritual, the Lord will use anybody to sit here and speak through you to get a message through. Sometimes people that said a word and they don't even know they said it. They were just a vessel at that point in time to sit here and get a message to you. I'm telling you what I know. So Irena lets us know that, Jason, when he was growing up, he really loved music, this, that, and the third. And I guess this is a driving force to what Jamie is trying to push. Like, okay, I know this is an interest, and I'm gonna just focus in on this. That's all I'm gonna focus in on. And Jason pretty much tells Mom, like, I would like it if you would talk to Dad about it, because if I do it, he's going to spaz out. He's not going to listen. It's just going to be a big thing. She says, you know what? I'm going to do a dinner. And you can say it to him then. Again, you are not listening to your son. He literally just told you, I would like for you to do it. And rather than saying, how would you feel if we did a dinner and I put it out there and allowed you to talk to him about it? She didn't say that. She just told him what was going to happen. Again, and I'm not going in too heavy on them because I was, but after watching the episode, I ain't going in too deep. I'm just throwing it out there. So we get Winter and Irena. Irena asks, Irena asks Winter about Ashley. Winter whole thing is, and she said this in her confessional, get to know me without bringing up Ashley. Understandable. But again, we're shooting a show, and this is one of those, it's almost like an icebreaker type of a thing. You feel what I'm saying? So, moving on. She also lets us know in the confessional that she feels that Irena plays both sides. I can see that, but again, none of them really know each other, and all of them, they only share one thing in common, and that is Monique. And that was made clear in the opening episode, in the opening scene. So Winter shares that she's 40 and she's, abstinent. Cool. Okay. Infidelity comes up. Irena says that, she wasn't moving right. At one point she was sliding into people's DMs and whatnot and was just flirting. It was never nothing sexual. There was no, SCXing, Xting, none of that type of stuff. And, it's because she wasn't getting, what she needs, in the bedroom. Her husband's sex drive is high, hers not so much. She needs the engine to be revved up and whatnot, missing the foreplay and all this other stuff, and not really getting that. And part of me feels that she may not have necessarily said that to him, but that's neither here nor there. And she also feels that if her husband were to cheat, that she would be part of the reason. Now, here's the reality. When it comes to certain things, do we play a factor in this and in that? Yes, we do. But the reality is, if someone makes a conscious decision to step out of the union and it has already been established that they are going to be monogamous, regardless of what it is that you did, that person made a decision to step out when they could have easily said, this ain't for me, let's go ahead and go our separate ways, or let's renegotiate the terms of this marriage. So can she contribute to it? Yes, but is it her fault? Absolutely not. Especially when that other person has a mouth and knows how to speak. And Winter brings up she knows sex therapist. So now we get Irena, and it's the family dinner. Her daughter Brittany is there. She is from a previous relationship. We found out that Jamie Sr. raised her like she was his own. And again, I tip my hat to men like that. That is a good thing. Let me see. Irena asks Jalen, what he got going on. Jalen says says to us in the confessional that he would have cared to have talked to his dad one-on-one rather than, this be a spectacle. And typically when you have somebody that is put on the spot because they don't know a conversation is happening, sometimes people can act a little bit irrational because now they're on the defense because they didn't know this was going on. Because it would be one thing if she didn't tell Jason and she sprung it on both Jason and Jamie Sr., but because 2 out of the 3 parties knew, yeah, and Jamie Sr. was definitely a little on guard. So Irena, breaks the news to Jamie. Jason says, his concern is his education and his independence. Jamie feels it will be a good story for people. Now, here's where Jamie had me messed up. Because again, you just gotta let people talk, and you can hear everything. And I heard me and I way too much because this let I mean, even though I already knew, but this lets me know everything that is being done is not about Jason. It's all about Jamie because he said this would be a good story for other people to see. Pretty much his son having a disability and being able to, be a DJ. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be good. He wants to be the one. He wants to be the one to be bragging on. He said that saying, that's my son on the TV in the magazine in Hollywood. And again, it's all about him. So then Jamie asked him, "What is your plan B?" And he pretty much like, "Okay, well, hanging out with the girls." And Jamie Jr. is like, "Well, you need money for that. If you be in the DJ, that'll bring the girls and this, that, and the third." And it's like, yeah, cool. But again, he told you what he wanted to do. And yes, being in the military, I learned you need to have a pace plan. P being your primary, A being your alternate, C being your contingency, E being your emergency. Not everybody goes into anything with an A B C D. You know what I'm saying? And in this, he said he wants education and independence. His father whole thing is, well, while we're waiting for the application and everything to go through, I'm talking about the here and the now. But again, it's all about what he wants, right? So Jason then tells him like, okay, well, I would like to work for Apple, and Jamie whole thing is like, in essence, like this is news to me too, but this lets me know you guys are not. If you may be having conversations with your son, but they seem to be very one-sided, and it seems that you're not really listening to him because you don't value what it is that he is saying. And yeah, he feels blindsided now, but again, if you listen to your son, you wouldn't be here. And then Brittany says, she wishes this would have been a conversation that she could have had. And she actually respects Jason because Jason has the ability to say, hey, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. She never had the opportunity to do that because she was thrusted into pursuing a level of education and going down this road because that is what her parents wanted her to do and not necessarily what she wanted. And with that, she doesn't even know what she would want to do because she never had the chance to explore it. I know that didn't sit well with Jamie either, but hey, it is what it is. But she says she respected his honesty, and Jamie and Irena, I put right here, they do not listen. So now we have Quick, Ashley, Jamie, and Irena. It's a double date. They rehash what Jason talked about, and Quick says, you have some parents that, they like to live through their kids, which they do. And sometimes it's the whole I didn't have this, so I want my kids to, and that's nice that this is what you want, but it's not always about you. And Quick even said, you sit here and you do this to a child, like they might end up resenting you. Some of them, might do a half-ass job with it, so now they're getting teased about it, and then you just have other kids that just ain't gonna do it. And this might be projects and whatnot where you're like pouring money into it, all for them not to want it because this is something that you want and not something that they want. And then there's also the resentment and everything else that comes with it. And I'm sitting here like, what, Quick, I can appreciate you for, spitting some real stuff. All right, I appreciated it. Irena brings up the sex therapist talk. Quick wants to know, when was the last time, they done did it. My question is, Irena, did you have this conversation with your husband before you had it with this other couple? Because if not, that is bogus. And again, I understand that, Jamie don't want people knowing their business is and the third. If that's the case, you shouldn't have brought your butt on a TV show. But nevertheless, man. And Irena says he's not passionate. And then they talk about facing the place, and shout out to Forrest Ross, and that, she doesn't let him do facing the place. And chances are, he probably ain't doing it right. But again, communication is key. The one thing I'm going to say to the Tyler family, I believe it's the Tylers, y'all need to learn how to communicate. All right, so we ended with Monique and Chris. She got a contract for the radio position, so that's good. Both thought that they would have, major aha moments on the trip, marriage-wise. And she asked, did something speak to him, meaning Chris? And Chris was just like, no, and more. And it's the whole thing of he was just in the moment the entire time. And maybe something did speak, but again, it's like sometimes when you're in the moment, you're just in the moment. And when you have a moment to calm down and, let your subconscious speak to you, it may end up coming to you. So she feels that, he gives surface answers. He feels he's being vulnerable with her. And she says he is not, and his intentions mean nothing. So him being vulnerable may not be enough for her, but that doesn't mean he's not being vulnerable. She feels that he, cracks the door, gives her a little bit and closes it. But you can't invalidate if he truly does feel that he's being vulnerable. And then she says, da, 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 his intentions mean nothing. And I'm just like, I mean, if that's how she feels, like I said, we can't invalidate that. But it's like, dang, that's kind of harsh, man. He feels he's trying to, hone in and make his mark, but obviously he's falling short. And it seems that what I will say, it seems to me, rather than just letting things flow organically and trying to, be in the moment with her, it seems like he's going out of his way to try to give her what she wants, and he's messing up rather than just trying to just do the best that he can. But from what it appears, listen to what I'm saying, from what it appears, from what we're seeing, they also have communication issues. Um, she feels that he plays it safe. He's trying to talk to her. He's trying to have a separate conversation to bring up her mom. She ignores the hell out of him, and he tells the camera crew and whatnot, I guess we done here since you don't want to talk. And that is where we end, and we're going to pick up from there. So that is all that I have. I gave y'all more than I thought I would. So please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see y'all for the next video, which will be The Real Housewives of Atlanta.